From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, October the 16th, 2019. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has just over a week left to try and form a government, with at the moment no progress towards meeting that goal in sight. Netanyahu has until October the 24th to form a government. If he is unable to do so, he will then need to return the mandate given to him by Israel's President Reuven Rivlin, who then could give Netanyahu rival Benny Gantz the same opportunity. Today, Netanyahu's Likud party announced that right-wing parties Shas, United Torah Judaism, Jewish Home, and the National Union signed a pledge that they would only enter a government led by Netanyahu, be it either a right-wing coalition or a unity government with a rotation, and would not join a minority government led by Gantz. The Jerusalem Post reports the pledge refers to a scenario in which Gantz would build a 44-member coalition with Labor Gesher and the Democratic Union, with support also from Yisrael Beitenu and from the Joint Arab List, which seems unlikely. New right leaders Ayelet Shaked, Naftali Bennett, and member Matan Kahane refused to sign the pledge, calling it unnecessary. There are reports that after meeting today with officials in Turkey about the situation in Syria, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will stop in Israel to brief Netanyahu and other Israeli leaders. The Times of Israel cited the Axios news site, and Israel's Channel 13 senior correspondent Barak Ravid reported that Pompeo is expected in Jerusalem tomorrow for talks regarding the recent actions of Turkey's military against Kurdish fighters in Syria, which followed the U.S. announcement of the withdrawal of American troops from Syria. Pompeo is in Ankara today with U.S. Vice President Mike Pence to meet with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, and will then reportedly update Netanyahu about the meeting and about U.S. policy in Syria. Earlier this week, Netanyahu, without directly criticizing the U.S. decision, strongly condemned Turkey's action against the Kurds in Syria, warning Turkey of ethnic cleansing and pledging Israel's assistance to the Kurdish people. Meanwhile, rallies of support for the Kurds have been taking place in Israel over the last few days. Yesterday, more than 100 people took to the streets of Tel Aviv to protest Turkey's actions. It was organized by political activist and IDF veteran Major in Reserve Yair Fink, who said of the Kurdish people, "It's our moral obligation as Jews to help them." Support rallies were also held in Jerusalem of Israeli Jews together with Christian Arabs. And here in the U.S., the American Jewish Committee is organizing a rally to be held Friday. AJC CEO David Harris said the Kurds have stood up when we needed them most. Now it's our turn to stand up. Federal prosecutors in Pittsburgh rejected a plea offer deal from the Tree of Life shooter. Lawyers for the man accused of murdering 11 worshipers in the Pittsburgh synagogue last year offered a guilty plea in return for life without parole. But prosecutors refused the plea, which would have avoided a lengthy trial in the case. They are hoping to seek the death penalty. And with the anniversary of the Tree of Life shooting just over 10 days away, the Anti-Defamation League launched an initiative to remember those who were lost that day and to take action. 11 Actions for 11 Lives is asking the public to join the Pause with Pittsburgh initiative, which we reported to you about yesterday, as well as taking other action like volunteering and advocating against hate. An Albanian Muslim man who saved Jews during the Holocaust will be honored for his heroic actions next month. 93-year-old Jame Veseli, together with Albania's Foreign Minister Edmund Panaridi, whose family also saved Jews during the Holocaust, will attend an Evening for the Righteous in Warsaw on November the 14th. Some 10,000 people came together this past Sunday in Berlin to remember and show support for the victims of the recent shooting in Halle and to stand together against anti-Semitism. The march began in Bebelplatz, which was a site of Nazi book burning during the Holocaust, and made its way to the new synagogue in the city's center. Similar marches of solidarity took place on Saturday as well in other German cities, including Hamburg and Marburg. The rally was organized by the civil rights group Unteilbar, or Indivisible, under the slogan, "We Stand United." And tens of thousands of people gathered at the Western Wall in Jerusalem's Old City today for the traditional Birkat HaKohanim, the priestly blessing, which is recited during Chol HaMoed, the intermediate days of the Sukkot holiday. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, October the 16th. At 7 o'clock, we hear from Holocaust survivor Gina Turgel. At 8, political consultant John Martilla talks about the findings of a survey of American prejudices. Then it's Jewish Cinematheque, where Eric Goldman sits down with filmmaker Aviva Kempner, who discusses her documentary, The Spy Behind Home Plate, the story of Major League ballplayer Mo Berg, who was a spy for America during World War II. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with chairman of the Chelsea Football Club in the UK, Bruce Buck, who talks about the club's initiative Say No to Anti-Semitism. At 10, millennials talk about how the time is now to fight against anti-Semitism. And coming up right after this newscast, it's Thinking Out Loud with Micah Halpern. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, October the 16th, 2019. I'm Teisha Bader.